Welcome to the Life Multiplied podcast, where we sit down with local community members to hear their stories and learn what they love about the Bloomington-Normal community. Well, welcome to the Life Multiplied podcast. Today I have two guests. If you would both like to go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Go ahead.
Alrighty. So, good morning. My name is Tiffany, and I am one of the owners of Hermana Studio here in Bloomington.
And I'm Amber. I'm the other owner of Hermana Studio.
Okay. And if you would like to just give us a little background on, where you started in this journey of opening this studio, and then a little bit about the studio and how you two became business partners.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually moved to Bloomington, we just said like 8 years ago. And so Amber and I used to work at Ulta, so I managed the department, and we became really good work friends, and then just kind of kept that friendship after we left, because we left a couple of years ago, 3 years ago when the pandemic happened.
2020.
Yeah.
I left in 2020.
Yeah, I left shortly after in October.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy. It's been that long.
Yeah, so we left in 2020, and then we just kind of like stood friends, and it's kind of funny because we always say like the studio came to be over coffee.
It did.
Yeah.
Okay. It did.
Yeah.
So the dermatology office that I worked at closed.
Okay.
And so I was kind of in this limbo of where do I go? What do I do? And Tiff texted me, and she's like, let's meet for coffee. Let's just talk.
Sure.
And so we talked because we still remained, like friends.
Yeah.
After Ulta, after we left Ulta. And she was super supportive of, you can do this on your own. Like, you can do this. And then all of a sudden this blossomed.
Yeah.
And now it's this.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually in the next slot over. There's like a bunch of one-room suites that professionals use. And so I was renting a room there, and I just kind of offered. I was like, hey, Amber, like, do you want to come in a day or two? Like, she'd just been an esthetician for such a long time that I was like, just use the room, like, just free of charge. Like, just want to help out. And so we had talked about, she's like, have you ever thought about like, building out? I'm like, yeah, I've thought about it. I don't know. And she's like, well, like now? And I'm like, maybe. I was like, let's just take some time and like think about it, pray about it. And like, let's just see what opens up. And it was like, we were looking in the beginning, it was like nothing was happening. And then we literally found the most perfect property. Oh my gosh, and it like a blessing. It worked out beautifully.
Aligned like as it should. It was just like one blessing after another. Yeah. It was just one, like, okay, we were looking at other areas and we were kind of iffy, and then this spot opened up and we're like, oh my gosh.
Meant to be.
Yeah.
So how do you say the name again? Is Hermana?
She says it better than I do.
Yeah, I'm like, when you said that, I was like,
she says it so beautiful.
Yeah, it was. Okay,
so yeah, it's Hermana. So
I don't think I'll ever sound that.
I know.
Great,
I'm like, Hermana.
Yeah,
because in Spanish the H is actually silent,
yes.
So it's technically Hermana.
Okay.
And so a friend of mine actually who's in the industry, she's so good with like words, and she's very, very good at that.
Sure.
And so she and I were up late one day just kind of dreaming about the possibility of a studio, and then I shared with her about our coffee date, and I was telling her like, I just want to feel of like a little bit of my Hispanic culture.
Sure, definitely.
And I want it to feel just like I want it to feel like we're not in Bloomington.
Yeah.
And so as we're talking, we were kind of like thinking about these things. She's like, I have a name for you. I'm going to just like think about it, create a logo, and I'll send it to you. And I was like, okay. So then she sent it to me, and she was like, you totally don't have to use it. Like, it doesn't hurt my feelings at all. And then she's like, but what you were talking about was like a sisterhood, like just this welcoming environment, because our tagline is every shade of nude. And so we just wanted to feel this inclusivity of everybody. And one thing that we would experience when we worked at Ulta was makeup, like foundation colors. Not everything worked for every skin tone. And a lot of times I would be called back to color match when they were just deeper skin tones. And so that one thing was for us was like when we did skin, whether it be makeup or skincare, we just wanted to make sure that everybody felt included in that. And so when she created that name, she's like, that's really like a sisterhood. Yeah. So in Spanish, Hermana is sister. So that's how Hermana Studio came to be. So, and I already had the name because I was using it in my one room suite. And so when Amber came on,
she was like, well, do you want to keep the name? And I was like, absolutely. Yeah.
She was like, yeah, I just, like, you got to tell me how to say it, though.
Yeah. I was like,
yeah,
absolutely.
Real.
I want it. Well, then it's funny, too, because then people think I can speak Spanish. I'm like, I can't speak Spanish.
Oh, no.
Just the one word.
Just the one word.
Right. Oh, that's funny. So was that Micah that did your logo and whatnot?
So, yeah, Micah created our logo and all of our branding. But a friend of mine, is Keely Aesthetics. She is I love Keely. She's such a good soul, but she's actually the person we've worked together throughout our journeys, and she was the one that gave me the name. And then when we decided to go together, we brought on Micah to do all of our branding, and she does such a good job.
Oh my
gosh.
Such a good job.
And we get so many compliments on it. It was really good because we felt like we had direction of where we wanted our branding to go and just everything of what we wanted to consider for our clients.
It was unified too.
Yeah.
This was a very kind of like a unique situation because she was on her own.
Yeah.
And then I kind of came in, but then it's like mine too. So like how do we kind of unify that? So she did a really good job.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how was the process of, like you wanted to open this business up in Bloomington-Normal? How was that process, and then how has the community been with supporting the business?
Yeah.
I would say really well.
Okay.
We did like Small Business Saturday, and we were both sweating like no one's gonna come, no one, and then it was a success. Like awesome. I feel like sometimes, like at least I can't speak for Tiffany, but at least with me, like I feel like I like undermine myself a lot. Like no one's gonna come, no one,
You're thinking of the worst.
I'm thinking the worst possible scenario, and I'm like, I have to stop thinking like that because I'm, it's been better than we could have really imagined.
Yeah, sure.
We've had a lot of support, like from the community and friends and family, and it's been really good.
Yeah, awesome. For sure. And just like as much as we can to do collaboration with other small businesses is like super important. So when we did Small Business Saturday, we collaborated with Lindsay to do Linked by Lindsay to do permanent jewelry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we both have them.
Yes.
I have one too.
Yeah, it's so cute.
Yeah, so we brought in Lindsay, and then I work with a photographer in town, Kat Held, and do makeup for her, and we refer out for like injections because obviously we only do aesthetics, so facials, makeup, body waxing, and so we always refer out for that, or just other businesses that we love, like
small businesses. We really try and like promote, cross promote, like things that you can do that we, and just kind of.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And I feel like that has really helped kind of like spread the word, if you will.
Yeah. And just allow us space to be able to like niche down and become very good at what we do because we are given the space to passionately go at this one target that we don't feel like we have to spread ourselves thin. Sure. And that allows us for us to be in love with what we do, but also support people that they love what they do and saying like you're in great hands when we send our clients elsewhere.
We've said before, like there's room for everyone at the table. Like 100%. You don't have to like there's a ton of people out there, and we there's certain things that they do that we don't, and vice versa. And it's like a really a loving thing. We just kind of support people. Yeah.
If there's one message that you could share with our listeners about your business, what would it be?
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
And real quick, when did you open the studio again? Was
July.
Oh, okay. I knew it was recent.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew that.
So Hermana Studio's been since February of 2021. So it's been around for a little while, but the full build out didn't happen until recently. Yeah. Okay. A message for people. I think that one thing that we talked about even when we met with Micah when we were building what we wanted Hermana Studio to look like was I think oftentimes our industry is looked at as a luxury, and we really wanted people to understand that it really is self-care and what skin it's important, you know, and being able to take care of that and really feeling like we want our clients to feel like we're educating them. We always say all the time, like, we are not salespeople. We're educators. And we want our clients to know that, like, we are in this with you. I do a lot of acne clients. I treat a lot of acne clients, and I just feel like that journey can be very difficult and very hard. And I never want someone to feel alone in that. And so I think for us, it's like, we want you to leave and not feel bombarded with all the messages that are happening that we have access to on social media. They can be great, but they can also feel very overwhelming. And so we just want to feel like, hey, you found a lifeline in this journey, and it's not just a luxury. Like, it's a treatment. It's a treatment, and we want to help you.
Our rooms a treatment room. This is a treatment. Like, yes, you're coming in. Do we give tender love and care? Of course, that's my love language. Like, I love like, tender love and care. Like, I want to, you know, talk to you, do all the things. But ultimately, I want to help your skin. I want you to feel better. I want you to be confident in your skin. So it's kind of, and that's why we didn't want to call it a spa. It's not a spa. It's really like a treatment. How are we helping your skin, and that we're with you with this skin journey, I would say.
Yeah, the sisterhood, right?
That
you're
not
coming
alone.
together. You're not alone. And just that every shade of new, the inclusivity of everybody, like, just all those pieces, feeling like, I feel like when people say, like, oh, you got to see my esthetician, we really want people to feel like my esthetician, that's personal. Like, she's in this with me.
She knows my skin. She knows what's best for
and all the things that are happening outside of that, because all the other pieces can play a factor. So, you know, we do get time to talk to our clients and know what's going on in their lives. And we just ordered like cards specifically because we wanted our clients to have handwritten notes, and like we think about birthdays and
if they had a loss or something that they celebrated, like personal.
Intentional. That's our word. So.
And that's awesome to have, especially when you know you're building the business and taking on, you know, starting new clients and then retaining those clients. So that's awesome. Awesome. So do you guys take like walk-ins, or do you have like a client list, or how does all of that work?
So we don't really do walk-ins. We have our like schedule, obviously, and they can book online. There's like different outlets, I guess, of how they can book. You know, email us, Instagram. I mean, she gets a lot of Instagram stuff. I've had a lot of, I'm going to be honest, I've been doing this since 2010. So at this point, a lot of my clients were like BFFs. So we have each other's numbers, and so you know, a lot of my clients reach out to me that way. So.
But you are taking new clients always.
Absolutely.
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 Especially, I feel like because I do so much acne, I get to a point where I say that they kind of like graduate. And so they are not having to come in as frequently. And so then they're at a point where they're able to maintain. It's an 80-20 rule. So 80% of the results of what you're getting is at home and 20% is us. And so we are able to get to a point where we're like, hey, you probably are not coming in every 4 weeks. You may be coming in every 8 weeks, or maybe just coming in 4 times a year, or whatever that looks like. And so there's more availability for more people to be able to come in.
But yes, we're always accepting clients.
Awesome. So let's move into what you love about the Bloomington-Normal community, just in general.
Well, I love how it's really good location-wise, because you're basically 2 hours from, like, major cities. Really, Chicago, St. Louis. You know.
Indy.
We're not far. It's a really good, I feel like, a melting pot. Because sometimes I feel like it's not a small town, but it's not a big town, and there's just a lot of, you know, with the colleges and things like that, it is kind of like this big melting pot, and there's a lot of opportunity to get to know people, I feel like.
I think we're in a really unique position because we have State Farm and Rivian here, and so we have a lot of really cool. It's interesting when people come in and I'm like, how'd you find the studio? And then I'm like, so how'd you end up in Bloomington? Those are probably the most fun, when you get to know people or made their way back or whatever the case is. And I think one of the other cool things is the diversity that I don't think we would think of that's here in Bloomington.
Sure.
But like I know that the Bloomington Junior High School, they talk about it being one of the most diverse like junior highs in the state.
Okay, wow, yeah.
And so there's just a lot of really cool things available to us. Like she said, we're not far from major big cities.
Yeah.
And I always feel like I live in a suburb, not like in a small town in the Midwest.
Yeah. So do you guys get a lot of clients who are out of town, or are most of them living in Bloomington-Normal?
I would say most of them are in town,
Okay.
but I do get some that are like 30, 40 minutes away.
Yeah.
And I feel so, blessed and happy. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys drove 40 minutes to come see me.
Yeah.
But most of them, I would say, is in town or just kind of the surrounding area.
Okay.
Yeah, anybody that I feel like has to like get in their car and like get on 55 or like a back road to get to us, I'm like, oh,
that's
not that we don't love our in-town people, because obviously they have to carve out time out of their day and pop in. But it's kind of cool to see, like, yes, we're supported by the Bloomington-Normal community, but even outside of that, the surrounding towns, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like, are there a lot of like esthetician studios and that around here? I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
there
I would
are.
say,
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like we're starting to see this like change in the industry. We're seeing a lot of individual people go out, but I think a lot of that is happening kind of like we were saying, like niching down and having like a specialty that they do. And so I think that's what's kind of neat is like, even for facials, there's times where like we have a really great friend that does a lot of like tender love and care, like it's more of like a relaxation kind of facial.
Sure.
And so when we have clients, I'm like, oh my gosh, you should check out this person, because that's really what they're looking for. So we want to do what's best for our clients.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like we have a ton of in the
I
area.
do feel like the industry is changing a lot as far as instead of like kind of working for like corporate or like their own working for someone.
Sure.
I feel like a lot of people are kind of branching off and just kind of seeing like growing in their own like unique talent.
Yeah.
Because I feel like especially when you're working at a place like whether that be like a medical spa or whatever, it's very black and white. You're going to do things this way, this way, this way, this way.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes it's kind of hard to let your talent, your own individual talent grow. And like even her and I, like we call each other the yin and the yang, is that we're unified, but there's things that she's better at and there's things that I'm better at. So it's supporting the strengths, I think.
Yeah. And then back to that luxury, I feel like just with, social media, you've got Instagram, you've got TikTok, where it's not so much about, okay, I have money, I can go do this, but more about like, a lot of us now are taking the time for like self-care and like, a lot of people, I mean, at least a lot of people I follow, they're doing that kind of stuff and taking care of themselves. So I feel like that only is helping the business itself, and then, what other people specialize in, like to grow and go off on their own and branch off. And
you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
So I feel like you need to, whether that be just coming in and, because I do some tender love and care stuff, of course.
Yeah, same.
But if you feel better, like how to take care of your skin better, how to feel better in your own skin. It's huge.
Yeah.
And I feel like in our industry, there's a lot of really cool things that are happening that when you're solo, you're able to choose what lines you want to bring in.
Oh, that's
and I think
huge.
that's so neat, because like for us specifically, we just started, we carry Face Reality, which is very focused for acne and beautiful results. But actually this year we're transitioning, aside from Face Reality, we will only carry Korean skincare. And so we're going to specialize in clinical Korean skincare is what we do. Okay. But like in that space, it's so neat because that's something that we want to do. We're interested in, we really want to do something innovative and different. And Korean skincare is so advanced than what we have here. And one of the other cool things about that is like, as you start to build your clientele, we almost were like shopping for them because we see skin concerns and we're like,
this will be good for this person.
Treatment.
And this person, like I feel like there's like a group of like, okay, I have like 5 or 6 clients that would be awesome for, or it's kind of like we have people in mind when we look and buy for things.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite parts of being able to be a solo SC is that we're able to like specifically shop for people and feel like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to help you. Like,
it's fun.
I found it. I love this.
That part's it's fun. It can be a little overwhelming where I get stressed, where I'm like,
need to find an answer. That,
and it's like it's a lot of like pressure. Like, oh my gosh, I hope I like it. I hope they like it. You know, again, I overthink sometimes, but it is fun.
Yeah.
And for them to know that, you know, you do care about them and like their journey, and that's great to have. Yeah. So where are your go-to places in town? What do you like to do? Where do you like to eat?
Yeah.
I like Yoga Lab.
Okay, of course.
She introduced me to Yoga Lab because, you know, her suite was right here.
There. Okay.
And
I could eat an acai bowl like
I know.
every day.
Yes. I'm debating getting one.
So good. And she was like, have you ever had this latte and all this? And I'm like, oh, I didn't even know this place existed. And now I'm here like twice a week.
Yeah, I know. I'm here once a week, and it's like, I don't need a bowl every week, but hey, maybe a coffee.
If you ever see like a cheers on our stories, just know that we're cheering Yoga Lab lattes, banana bread lattes.
Oh my gosh, that's my favorite.
Yes. I had it yesterday.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
I love Yoga Lab. Where else did we say?
So we were just laughing because we do pop-up chicken shop. Because they're right there by us, by our studio.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
I really like stores that I feel like I shop at frequently that I love is Spiceworks.
Yeah.
I love Spiceworks. I think they're really cool and just very different.
We get our candles from Serendipity.
Serendipity. Our signature scent. Yep.
Nice.
Which is really cool because that candle company that we use, Astrid and Indigo, they're poured in Colfax. Okay. So they're not really too far from us. But yeah, we support Serendipity a lot. And a lot of our clients probably go over and snag what we use.
Yeah, because every time they come in, they're like, oh my gosh, it smells so good.
You guys are, you're bringing everyone together.
We have a good like collab, like support local.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then another one that I probably frequent is, I like the Olive Bin. I like to shop there. They're another good one. Yeah. We support a lot of Apricot Lane too, just because that was actually our boss back in the day.
Okay. That was our boss
at Ulta.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I've met her.
Yeah. So we go, I just did a huge shopping
haul.
Yeah.
Me and my best friend, we went to Apricot Lane. I was bummed because Stephanie, the owner, wasn't there.
Oh. Yeah.
But I did send her all of the pictures.
And you're like,
I was here.
Yeah.
Oh, too much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So then where can our listeners, our followers find you, whether it is on social media or whether it's going to book a service, if you want to touch on that?
Yeah, so we have one main Instagram that we use, hermanastudio.blono. And then we both have our own individually Instagrams. And then our main Facebook is Hermana Studio. My Instagram is Tiffany S. I have to look it up for you. I know.
Because I created mine, obviously, before her and I started our collab. And mine was, listen, I'm going to be honest. I'm not a big Instagram person.
Okay,
I'm working on it.
She's really good at Facebook, though.
Sure. Hey,
she's the Facebook guru.
You've got her Instagram. You've got Facebook. Yeah.
I like my newspaper Facebook style.
We like what we
it's
like.
It's easy for me to navigate. Instagram the other day, I was like, how do I make a boomerang?
Oh, that's hilarious.
I'm like, I don't know how to do this.
It's funny.
So my Instagram is tiffany.sd and MUA.
Okay.
But yeah, usually if it's an Instagram thing, that's me, and I'm like, I forget about Facebook, and Amber's like, I got it, girl. I'm on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
I just did a Facebook post last night, girl.
And she's really good at Facebook.
Okay.
I'm more an Instagram girl.
Awesome.
I'm getting better at it. That's what I say. I'm like, I'm not good at it, but I'm working on it.
Hey, at least you're trying, you know?
Yeah. Mine's Aesthetics and Beauty by Amber. Honestly, I want to change that. But
and I'll be sure to tag them in the bio and whatnot, but... Yeah. Anything else you two would like to add before we end this?
Just that we're very grateful and thankful from, support and, this has just been such a blessing.
Yeah.
yeah, very grateful, blessed.
Yeah.
Anything that you want to add?
I feel like I just really want to thank our husbands.
Oh,
They,
sister.
they're kind of amazing.
They
Awesome.
are.
I love that.
They really hold down the fort at home for us.
Yes.
And I just think it's kind of amazing that, like, it's a little scary to venture out and do your own thing. But without hesitation,
They
both of
supported
them were
us.
like, yeah, do it, and believed in us.
Awesome.
Very
and
good.
they're okay with, like, sometimes late nights of work and the wildness of our schedule. And
Yeah.
so I have a high schooler at home, and Amber has littles at
I
home.
have 2 little boys.
Yeah.
And so, yes, they've been so amazing. When
Yeah.
we were doing the studio, came and helped us paint.
Yeah.
And her husband built shelves and
Yeah.
just so supportive. Like, in our family and our parents
Yeah.
and in-laws and all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They have been a huge help. So
Yeah.
I don't think we could have done it without
No,
them.
our husbands being able to, like, the day-to-day of us being able to do what we do, I'm so thankful. I think that our husbands are just our biggest cheerleaders in the background that
believing in us.
Believing
it's
in
a
us.
huge
Yeah.
leap to say,
go for it. You girls can do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
to say, like, this isn't, and I even said, like, in the beginning, like, I don't know how, how much, and even that has been better, and he's like, you're doing great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They're very chill.
Awesome. That's
We
great.
love them.
That's
We
awesome.
They're-
love that.
Shout out
Love
to the
that.
hubs.
Love
Shout
that.
out. Shout out to the hubs.
Shout out to the hubs, for sure.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you two taking the time to come
Yeah.
on the podcast today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to tune in to next week's episode, where we talk with local community members to learn more about life multiplied here in Bloomington-Normal.